Hello world. So if you like me, you probably like to save money, specifically with AI. If you build, if you play, if you have an agent, you're paying a lot of money regardless. I showed you a couple of weeks ago one way to save, and that was using the NVIDIA build platform, which is okay, right? It's a hit and miss. Some models respond, some time out. A lot of people use it. But if you've seen my videos, you've seen me talking a lot about OpenCode. And first of all, I'm not affiliated. I have no relationship. I just love their service. I love their approach. They're open and they provide you with free models. So in today's video, I'll show you few cool things. One, how you can use these free models with your favorite AI tools, including OpenCode itself, which is a great agentic AI CLI harness, in my opinion. But the highlight will be how you can take these models and use them for free inside Claude Code. Yes, and you can get really good models, including the Minimax M3, which was released earlier this week, and do whatever you need. If you ran out of Claude Code usage, or if you wanted to use Claude Code and you're not subscribed, technically you can experience the Claude Code harness with a decent model. So without any further ado, let's jump in. OpenCode is easy to install, supports any operating system. You can see how easy it is. And once you install it, it's just very straightforward. You just copy it, run it on your operating system, and you'll have it running. As soon as you install it, you get access to free models. Really good ones, actually, to be surprised. One of them, as you can see here in my screen, is Minimax M3 free, which in my opinion and my experience, it is really good model. Really, really good in my opinion. I've been doing coding with it in some complex projects I have, including my Notebook LM MCP, and the latest release were completely done by M3 free. I used it almost half a day. I did hit the free limit, but it refreshes and they're very generous. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Of course, like anything free, they use your data to train the model. So take that into consideration. But when it comes to OpenCode, you have multiple models you can see free. You can just search for free and you'll see what currently is available. You have Mimo V4 free, which is, again, a very good model. We got Nemotron 3 Ultra, which is also available and free. And the good old DeepSeek V4 Flash is available for free. So you can just use it without entering anything. You just install it and you get access to it. But what if you wanted to take these models elsewhere, to a different tool? Let's say to Claude Code. How would you do that? Well, it's a little bit tricky. You could do something like Ollama is doing, where they have the ability to Ollama launch Claude Code and they inject their models. So what I've done, I build a tool that does the same thing for you. And I'll show you that later on. So stick around in the end of the video and you'll see how I can take all the OpenCode models and use them inside the free one, at least, unless you want to pay, go for it. And you can use them inside Claude Code, and it even has its own API server if you want to plug in any CLI and configure it to connect this as an API backend. And I have some roadmap where I'm planning to add codecs in the future, similar element, and who knows, maybe Claude Desktop and Claude Cowork. We'll see about that over the next few weeks. So let's talk about OpenCode and the plans. So I mentioned they have the Zen. So this is where the free models are available. As you can see here, this is the pricing. They do list Big Pickle, which is a stealth model. Really good, in my opinion. I've been using it for agentic activities on my personal agent as the backend model. It's been performing really well, in my opinion. And you have DeepSeek, Mimo 2.5, Nemotron, and they don't list M3, but Minimax M3 is available for free, as you saw in my quick demo. But that's not it. So Zen plan itself is very good. It's paid by the token. So you can upload, you can register, you can upload $20, for example, credit, and use them. And then they have multiple models, the big tiers, everything that that are available from other providers as well, like OpenRouter, but they provide that as a convenience built into the service as part of the Zen offering. But they also have something, in my opinion, really cool called the OpenCode Go subscription, which I am subscribed. I tested it for the first month. It's $5 to start and then $10 after. And what it does, it gives you access to all these open source great models with really good, I would say generous limits. I have not yet hit limit with my OpenCode subscription. You can see the pricing and to show an example. It varies between models. Some models are more expensive than others, but you can see they are quite generous. And for example, the cheapest one, Mimo 2.5 and the DeepSeek V4 Flash. And the others, and of course you can see the M3 is quite expensive, but it's really nice. So they have 5 hours window, and they have the weekly window for limits, and they have the month limit. And you can see more details on the pricing and how they charge you and all the fun stuff. I am subscribed to this, and I'll show you how to do this. Let's go and show you how you can get the API key. Again, no credit card needed if you want to take this elsewhere. Let's go back into the OpenCode, and I'll show you how to sign in. So if you go, for example, into the Go and you do login, it will ask you what you want to do. I'm already logged in. So you'll see under API keys, here is my API key that is available for me to use whatever I want. They allow you to take their models and plug them into different locations. They provide you with the address on how to configure it, and really straightforward. And I have a tool that actually using it, which I'll show in a different video, where these models are plugged in and I can use them for agentic and AI queries. And that's something for a later video. Check around. Maybe this is the time to subscribe, so you'll see that video on how I'm using this for my new solution that allows you to engage with model counsel and advisory. Pretty cool tool. Stick around. Click like and subscribe. It really helps to produce more videos. So with the Go, by the way, if you like this video and you will decide to check out their service and subscribe, which I highly recommend because I am subscribed. This is my second month already, and you can see I'm pretty good. I'm not gonna hit my limits. I'm 12% for the month, and I'm using it every day, all day. It's the brain of my agent, so it's really awesome. And if you register, I'll put this in the link below. So if you register through my referral link. I would appreciate it. That will help me to build more tools like what you're gonna see in this video. So let's show you what the tool I created that will allow you to use this models, the free models, and if you're subscribed to Go, in Claude Code. Let's get in. This is my latest creation. I did it last night. I was thinking about doing this video on OpenCode, and I said, but what if someone wants to take this into Claude Code? Wouldn't that be cool? So I worked all night. I built this tool, and it's going to evolve because I thought it's going to be simple, just doing something simple like Ollama, where they essentially using something called system variables to inject their own URL instead of the Anthropic URL for the API calls and their own key. And they kind of insert their Ollama model into Claude Code. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, so if I'll go into my Ollama and open it, you can see this is what they're doing. So they have their Ollama launch for Claude Code, for Codex, for the app, for Hermes agent, for OpenClaw, and other solutions that I don't use at all. But it is available, and it's pretty cool. However, Ollama, you can use local models, and if you want to use the high-end models, you will have to pay, it's about $20 US for a month, And I still think that OpenCode provides better value, OpenCode Go. So that's the Olama. And let's go back into this tool. So how do you use this tool? Let me show you. Very easy to install, a single command. All you need to do, the requirement is to have Node.js on your computer. And one of the supported tools right now, it's Claude Code. And of course, if you have other CLIs that you want to configure them as a backend, that will work as well. And an API key. And again, clicking on the API key will take you to this place, and you can sign up with your Google or GitHub and just generate an API key. Again, no credit card required if you're just going to use the API key for the Zen models, for the free one. So installing it, super simple. That's the only command. This is how to install it. And below it is how to upgrade if you have this installed. I did not install it on the system, so let's do it for the first time. So let me close this and run the npm install of the OpenCode Starter. Supposedly installed, let's check it. So OpenCode Starter version, and I'm the latest version 0.2.5. So there are two things you can do with this. Let's start with the fun part. Let's do Claude. So to inject the OpenCode model, there is a wizard that I'll show you example on Mac, but you should have similar experience on Windows and Linux, whatever you use. So the way to use it is to OpenCode Starter and Claude. And now it scanned my system. It noticed I don't have an API key, and I don't. I never defined any API key. So let me quickly get my API key. And now it's going to ask me, where do you want to save it? So I'm on Mac. It detected it and asked me, should I save it in the keychain, which is a secure method? Should I do it on the keychain and also on the local bash file, which is where you usually store system variables, or in the system variables? Again, it's not very secure because it's going to be plain text. Everybody will see it if they have access to your computer. And I can do this only for this session. So it's going to be just running this session. Next time I'll do it, I have to do it again. But you know what? I'll just save it in my keychain. And now it's going to ask me, what kind of subscription do you have? So if you are free only, you don't have anything, you just subscribed, you generated a Zen API, select this. If you're a Zen subscription, you can use this as well, and it will allow you to integrate with your Zen and show you all the models. But if you're on the Go, it will show you all the Go subscription models and all the free models from Zen. So you have, and you can say, I have both, so good for you. Define it and you'll see all the models. I'm on Go subscription. That's what I have. So I'll see all the models. And here you can see all the available models right now. And something to remember about the OpenCode models, they are time limited. Whatever is available right now, it's called a promotion. It will end at some point. I don't know how long they're going to offer the M3 or the Nemotron 3 Ultra or the Mimo 2.5. It will end some point, of course. So let me just pick, for example, DeepSeek. So DeepSeek free. It's going to ask me, do you want to launch Claude Code? Yes, I want. And it's launching a proxy server locally. And I'm going to say yes. And make sure to click yes on this. This is very important. You have to accept the API key. And here we are. So you can see at the bottom, I have DeepSeek V4 defined as the model. Yeah, but does it work? Does it respond? So let's see. Let's ask it, just say, nice greeting, hello. And there we go. So now you'll see something interesting. When I ask it, who is your maker? It's probably going to think it's Claude because because it's running within Claude Harness. Yeah, so it's again Claude Code. Oh, but it figures out it is the underlying model DeepSeek V4, which is awesome. and you can do technically almost everything. I'm sure there's some things that are very Claude specific that may not work. I haven't tested all the slash commands or capabilities or workflow, but I could say, for example, let's see if we can do some things. Can say, can you check what are the latest GitHub repo I created? So now I'm forcing it to use a tool. It will try to use one of the local tools, and you're going to use gh, which is installed. It's the GitHub CLI command. And it will say, and we'll check, and you can see it's running and doing and reporting. So the same thing you can do with Claude Code models, you can do that now with any model from OpenCode. So that was the free. And of course, as I mentioned, I also have other models. So for example, if I'll do Claude Code again, you'll see now we detected the key. It doesn't ask me again because it checked my environment. In your first time, it will also insert it in the session. So you don't have to restart and do it again just for convenience. And let's try to see if the other models, so for example, Qwen 3.7 Plus and Max, both recently released, and they're also received really high benchmarks in coding and agentic benchmarks. So let's see, let's do the same. Let's see if Qwen 3.7 Plus is working. Click yes on this folder and tell me a fun fact about an animal. Octopus had 3 hearts and blue blood. They're royal, the king of the sea. So as you can see, it fully works. And I have done actually maintained the OpenCode Starter. Once it was operational, I used it to run my Claude Code to edit and fix some issues in the repo. So it was kind of interesting loop of the tool itself, fixing itself to make it better for you. And I built it for you so you can easily use it and inject the OpenCode models. And that was this. And of course, I'm still working on how to properly switch models. This is a little bit complicated because it's not as simple as you think. And that's the reason I have, every time I launched it, I launch a small server acting as a proxy that can direct the models, because their setup is a little bit interesting because they support multiple types of models. Some models are on the API, the OpenAI API-style API gateway, and some on the Anthropic-style API backend. And they're different. And of course, if you exit a session and you want to resume, so you can see, I can do the same thing. For example, I'll do Claude, and I'll just resume the previous session, and I'll use a different model. So you can switch the model. For example, this time I'll go back into the good old pickle, click yes, yes. And you can see here's the same session I had earlier with Qwen 3.7. Now it's available with the pickles. And the second option I have in the system is to run this as a standalone server. And then you can configure any tool, any CLI tool, or any agentic tool that supports defining an API with a key. So let me show you examples. So I'm going to do the same thing, OpenCode Starter. And this one I will use the server command. So now I'm just going to run a server. I'm not going to launch Claude Code. And it's already discovered that I have the key. So it's not going to ask me again. And I have 2 options. Do I want to run it only on the system? This is safer, of course. Only this computer can access the API gateway, or I want to expose this in the network. And when you do it in the network, this is where I introduce just a little bit extra layer of security. So not everyone can go in and, you're in a public network and they scan your computer and they tap into it and start consuming all your API on OpenCode. Launch it. It's going to ask you to define a password. So let me just do the very secure password called password. And should I save it? No, I don't want to save this password. But now here is my key. Here is my backend. So I can configure any API. And this is a little bit more advanced. Obviously, if you have a tools and you know how to configure the APIs, this is the way to do that. So that's what I had for you today. Hopefully you will be able to use these free models in OpenCode itself. OpenCode, it's as a CLI harness is pretty amazing, in my opinion. It's great. I use it a lot. Hopefully you enjoy this. Check it out. The link in the description to this repo. Start it. Submit feature requests or issues, of course, or PRs, pull requests. I'm always happy to improve this with the help of the community. It's fully open source, available for you to use. So go out, break something, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers!
AI spotlight illuminating the future of AI.